Hello, welcome to the Always Be Comedy podcast. Our guest today is the great Jack Barry. Tim, for me, this is a classic. I can't believe he's not already done it.
Yeah, yeah, it really was. Um, we've been big Jack guys for a while. He's recently come back in for fold as one of our rotating MCs when you're doing warm up, and he's been an absolute delight recently. He's so funny. It was great to have him on, and yeah, I couldn't believe he hadn't done it before.
Tim, Jack Barry is one of those people as well. He's been consistently brilliant for a lot of years.
Yeah, I saw him. I know I say this about a lot of comedians, but I've been around for 11 years now. I saw him as an open spot, and he was so good then. He had really funny bits about. Like he was like part of a social media team for a fast food chain. It was always so funny, and it's just been really. It's just been so nice seeing someone go from literally first few gigs to where they are now. It's really cool.
I'd heard this might be a myth, but I'm gonna share it anyway.
Yes, please.
So was it Twins, wasn't it? The double act with Annie McGrath.
Yeah, brilliant.
So the story goes, and I'd like to apologise to Annie, Jack, everyone, if this isn't true. I'm sure it was Jack. I'm sure it was Jack that told me this. So they got booked onto, is it Late and Live, the really rowdy Edinburgh show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you heard this story?
I can't remember what happens, but I have heard Twins doing Late and Live story, but I can't remember what it is.
Comedy fans, enjoy. Tim, there is by the way, this is the second attempt at telling this story because the first one I worried felt litigious. But, so there's a story about an urban myth, maybe it's not true, about Twins, the double act that Jack had with Annie McGrath, and I think this story came from Jack. If it didn't, I apologise, but I think Jack felt that Twins got booked for Late and Live, and maybe their feeling was that were they the potential lambs to the slaughter booking? I don't know, maybe not, but anyway, they're doing a sketch. And let's say, I don't know what sketch was, but let's say Annie McGrath's line is something like, "What would you like to buy in my shop?" And a guy in the crowd allegedly shouts, and I'm sorry for my Scottish accent, "Shite! Shite! Shite!" And Annie McGrath goes, "Oh, sorry. What would you like to buy in my shop?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
So, just to explain the joke, she genuinely thought the guy was shouting, "Shout!" as in, we can't hear you. Please speak up. We want to hear your comedy musings.
Yeah.
And so she shouted, but Jack knew that is not what the guy was shouting.
Oh man, God, twins were great. I saw them do really great shows, but they are not necessarily the Late and Live vibe.
No, and look, both hugely successful in their own right. Annie McGrath, great comedian, great podcast host, and also great footballer, but also a great writer. Right, has written essentially all the telly, wrote a lot on A League of Their Own and much more. Tim, we loved Jack's adverts chat, didn't we?
Oh my! I think secretly, I just want to always talk about adverts with comedians. I think it's my favorite thing. I find it always so fascinating. And we know several comedians who like adverts are their bread and butter, and Jack is maybe the king of it. As we talk about in the episode, his face was literally on McCoy's packets for a couple of years.
We love the adverts. It's the spin-off.
Yeah.
Adverts be comedy. That's the spin-off pod. But no, it's a world that I suppose it's a world we don't know anything about because we've not done. We've never been a big ad, but like Sunil stories about the nationwide. By the way, sorry, all very positive, all great stories.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we're just such a great audience for them because who didn't you do some ad campaign with Anne Hathaway and Roger Federer?
Sunil? Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my God, so
if you love the ads chat, I hope you love how much Tim and I love listening to Jack's ads chat. We're I've got a clenched fist on my chin, listening intently to anyone doing the audio version. Right, here he is. Oh, by the way, Jack Special, Tim, it's on YouTube. So if you go on YouTube and search Jack Barry comedy special, you will find it. Just to give you a little peek behind the curtain, I can see by Tim's face that he's frantically trying to confirm the name. He's got it. He's nodded. And Tim, the comedy special is called
Jack Barry. Don't happy be worry. Full special.
Of course it is. Don't happy be worry. God, Tim, well found. And we'll sort that in post. Yeah, perfect. If the lighting looks odd, we've gone away for a few days with the kids. This is the camera on the laptop. Tim Ho, here he is. Oh, by the way, sorry. Jack Barry is emceeing Always Be Comedy a fair bit in the coming weeks. And tell you who else you'll see in the coming weeks and months. This week we have got this week is sold out, Tim. Do you know what, Tim? I will say this: it's always worth checking the website in case of returns.
Oh God, on the day especially, like you're look. I think there's always a chance of getting in, even if you rock up. I mean, I say this now, but we will always try and get people in, and most of the time it works. But yeah, always check on the day, and I think you might be lucky. I think you might be lucky quite often.
I think you phrased that beautifully. But in the coming weeks and months, I tell you what, Tim, Thursday, the 23rd of April at our Chelsea night, Finn Taylor, Josh Pugh, Fatty El Ghori. Mate.
Mega bill.
That's insane. I mean, that is a mega bill. Yeah. On the Friday, the 24th of April, Harriet Kemsley, Joe Thomas, Sunil Patel. And then in the coming weeks and months, we've just added shows with the likes of there's Nish Kumar, there's Sarah Pascoe, there's Helen Bauer, Ellis James, Nish Kumar. Tim, we've just added a load of shows with Finn Taylor, including some Finn Taylor and Friends shows.
Yes, very, very exciting. Finn right now is on a real hot streak. He's just had to add a second Apollo because the first one went in turbo time, essentially. So he is smashing it. And if I may say so, I am thrilled at the fact that really he doesn't seem to gig many other places apart from Always Be Comedy. So unless you're going to Apollo, I think if you want to see him in London, you're gonna have to work with us and come see him in. You know what? You can see him in all our venues: the Tommyfield, Chelsea, and Balham. There's many different gigs with him.
The first official, if you like, because we're doing some summer pirates, but the first official Balham show is on sale at the Bedford in Balham, Friday the 4th of September. SNL star Ayowade Bangboyi, Horatio Gould, Finn Taylor. Right then, without further ado, here, and many more, please visit alwaysbecomedy.com. But without further ado, here he is, the great Jack Barry. Hello, welcome to the Always Be Comedy podcast. Our guest today is the great Jack Barry. Jack, straight from the jump, the home setup with the mic is sensational.
Van, thank you. I do my best.
So who have you done ads for, and who have you done voiceovers for? Because you're
I'm Mr. Adverts. I know.
No, but I mean that's fantastic, though, isn't
it? Yeah, it's all right. I done. This mic got me through the pandemic. I was the voice of Dave for a while, the channel, and yeah, I used to sort of have to record loads of things of me sort of introducing world's most dangerous roads. Tuesdays at 10 on Dave, which I think my neighbours must have thought I'd really lost it during the pandemic, because I would just like say that about 30 times with slightly different inflections, and they were like, yeah, it was tough. It was tough on everyone, that pandemic, especially me. But currently I'm the voice of a pigeon on the Gift Gaff advert, but I got to do that one in the studio. I didn't do that one at home.
Now, I know that we're not sponsored by Gift Gaff, but I do have to say this, as I warm up on the Martin Lewis show, right?
Yeah.
And I will often chat with the crowd about things that, just during breaks, genuinely about things like, just out of interest, who's your mobile phone provider? The amount of people that speak glowingly about Gift Gaff, and I suspect, is it because it's It's not an obvious one, therefore it's a bit cheap. This sounds like such an ad.
I know.
Sounds like such
really
an ad.
pivoted into this. I hope they pay me more for my next voiceover
But
job.
what I mean is because it's so obvious to go with, say, a Vodafone, an EE. God, if you sent this to gift gaff, gee, I'd be CEO.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very cheap, and convenient.
It's cheap because they're not one of the big dogs. They can get away with it because they're an indie boy.
I guess so. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. My partner's on gift gaff. I used to have a friend who called it Jif Jaff, which I thought was quite. He just arrived from Egypt, and he was like, "I got a SIM card from Jif Jaff," which I think is catchier. I get James Gill quite a lot.
Do you?
I do, yeah.
Jilly.
Old Jilly.
Especially in restaurants.
Really?
Hang on, I'm not at restaurants a lot. I'm looking at like I'm. Tuesday, another day in a restaurant.
But also, when are they using your name in a restaurant as well?
Well, if you've made a reservation and it's Mr. Jill, and you're like, yeah, sure. Yeah,
you have to reserve at Claridge's these days.
Yeah.
Claridge's.
I've always had Jack Berry. He's like followed me around sort of comedy gigs that I've done my entire career, and I'll turn up and there'll be a poster, Jack Berry performing here tonight, and. Yeah, he's if I ever meet Jack Berry, he's dead. Josh Berry, though, has really made it worse, I think. His existence on the circuit is not doing me any favours.
You know the Sean McLaughlin story? He got booked to be in a Hollywood movie.
No.
So Sean gets booked to be in this Hollywood movie, and he's like, this doesn't feel... Sean's like us. Self-deprecating. You know, if something's too good to be true, it probably is. And so he says to his agent, he's like, obviously I want to do this, but can you just check that they haven't got me confused with Sean McLaughlin, the massive YouTuber? And they went back, and the film production company went, that is exactly what's happened.
Oh my God, that is absolutely devastating. But how did they find him then? They just Googled him. We'll just find the first email that pops up when you type his name into Google. I won't do any research into his agent or anything like that.
It's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the stories that you hear in this industry of like, someone else I know who is like a friend of a friend got cast in a film, and he was like, "This is incredible." And they were like, "Yeah, we're going to send through the contracts in a couple of days," and then it went quiet for like a week. And then he was like, "When are those contracts coming through?" And his agent was like, "Oh yeah, I've just chased up the casting director. They just completely mixed up your tape with someone else, and they wanted to cast a completely different actor. And so actually, he's got the job. This life-changing, huge role." And it was like, "Oh, sick! Yeah, great."
That wasn't Henry Lloyd Hughes, was it?
Where is he? The guy from The Inbetweeners?
Yeah.
Yes, it was him.
So I've interviewed him. He told me that story.
He told that story. Yeah. So his mate told me that story like last week. That's so funny. Oh, I'm glad it's not happening too often then.
Well, no, I think his take is that sort of stuff. His take is that there's no duty of care, basically. So what happened to him was he got told he was in this thing. They're going to phone it. This was on the Friday, he gets told, I think, and then they're going to get the call on the Monday just to, you know.
Do you know what? Can I just say something? This is how stupid I am, James. I'm remembering where I heard this story now. It was you told me it after football last week. When I'm like, "Oh, this story. Where did I hear this story from about the guy from The Inbetweeners?" And you're like, "It was you. You told me this story."
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I've done that before. I remember I worked at a place. I told someone a story, and then they told it back to me a few weeks later. They put so much extra fucking relish on the story.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad I haven't done that.
I'll never forget. It was a Tuesday. The sunlight glistened off my hair. Mate, this is not your story to tell. When I was at uni, a mate told a story about how he was in the West Indies and Curtly Ambrose saved him from getting beaten up, right? And we're all like, wow, what a story. This is amazing. And, oh, shucks, you know. And then his brother came to stay and told the story, but it was the brother's story.
No.
While the brother was telling the story, that he was just like deathly quiet. I've been dining out on the Curtly Ambrose story.
Oh my God, that is absolutely horrifying. I've had a friend tell one of my stories at a party before, and he was like, "This happened to me," and I was like, "That's my story." but I didn't want to. He was using it to try and flirt with a girl, so I didn't want to. So I just didn't say anything.
Excuse me, he's a liar.
Yeah, that's my story. We have to go home together now.
Going back to adverts very quickly, I remember when you were literally your face was on McCoy's packets.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That was a big one. That was great.
Yeah. That was a great one. Yeah.
Did that
on all the packets in the country? In like it was like a competition. It was like find the golden crisp and you win £10,000, and it was a picture of me holding the golden crisp. There was even a point where they had like a cardboard cutout of me in like service stations holding the golden crisp.
Did you ever see one?
Yeah, I was doing a gig. I can't remember where I was, but I'd stopped in like a service station in Oxfordshire somewhere on the way back, and I was buying some stuff, and there were all these policemen like paying at the till, and then the comedian that I was on the bill with was like, "Oh, you seen this guy? Like, you recognise this guy?" Like, shot me, and then the police all started calling me Chris Boy, and they were all taking the piss out of me. I was like, "This is police brutality. I don't need this." On the way home from quite a lukewarm gig. But yeah, it was Ola the comedian. What happened to Ola? Is he still gigging?
What happened to Ola the comedian?
Wow, he's
doing
something else now. It's like a business thing.
Is it? Yeah. I thought I hadn't seen him for. I was trying to remember who it was. Yeah, it was Ola. Like, shot me in with the police. They hadn't noticed, and then he was like, "Oh, recognise this guy?" And they were like, "Oh my god, it's the guy from the cardboard cutout." And they all started ripping me.
Oh, Ola was a lovely lad.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Sweet soul.
Yeah.
It's nice when someone comes up like that, a name. You're like, oh yeah, they were great. Whatever they're doing, I hope they're all right.
Yeah. Right. I know.
What's bad is when you do that and then someone goes, "Oh, they're still gigging." You're like, "Oh God, sorry."
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's he's still doing monkey business every Thursday, I think.
Oh man, monkey business.
Is that still around? I think that's still around.
Is it? I don't know. I never actually did it.
One way or another.
I managed to get through the open mic circuit without having to do monkey business.
I did. So many.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, loads and loads and loads of monkey business.
Were you comparing them? I thought Martin just compared all of them.
Oh no, this is when I was open mic.
Yeah, right.
So Martin's comparing, and you're doing your 5,
Yeah, sure.
So you never did it?
No, I don't know how. I think I even like had them booked in, but then had to cancel at the last minute. Maybe then he stopped booking me. Maybe that was why.
He used to write a little description of each act next to the name before the gig, so you could see it on like Facebook.
What of like a physical description or like
lovely storyteller?
Oh, okay.
So let's get us back out. If there was a hard edit, it's because we worried that we'd veered towards litigious town.
Yeah, exactly. Litigation vibes.
So hang on. Yes, right. So that must have been the biggest campaign you've been involved in, the crisp one, because that was huge.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say that was probably the biggest one. And it was good, and it was good that it kept on going for like a couple of years. Yeah, like they renewed it twice. So it was like that was the nicest thing about it. It was like right after Edinburgh one year, I come away from Edinburgh, and you obviously come away with loads of debt, and you're like, oh shit, I need to make some money. We were going straight from Edinburgh to Madrid to visit my partner's grandma who lives there. And sort of got off the plane in Edinburgh, and I was like, oh my God, I really need to make some money. And then my agent called and was like, they want to put your face on every single packet of McCoys in the country. You don't have to do anything, and you'll get paid for it in a couple of weeks. And I was like, oh, great. And I was like, thank God for that. Money problems have just evaporated. So yeah, but that was a long time ago now. And
one of my favorite Jack Barry bits is about that. You probably haven't done it for about 4 years, but I think I
haven't done it for a while.
Yeah.
I did it on the Russell Howard Hour, and then I sort of retired it after that.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a bit of Golden Barry, Cancer Dog.
That was a good bit. That comes back every now and then, actually. If I find myself comparing and someone works with cancer, it pops back in occasionally.
The thing is, that is a timeless classic bit. Still, what I mean is, because people have got a routine about, say, Facebook that is quite dated now.
Yeah.
But
Cancer ain't going nowhere.
Well. What do you do? I work in AI. Oh, they think that in a few years AI might be able to cure cancer. Speaking of which,
wait, yeah. There's one thing we're not going to lose. It's cancer and dogs. It's just a timeless bit.
It's nice when you can bring a bit out of retirement, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I did not do it for a long time, and then it was like, it kind of got back in the news again, and then it just became relevant again. And someone mentioned it at a gig, and I was like, oh, amazing, I've got a bit about this. That's always the greatest feeling when you're like, if you're comparing and you're talking to someone in the audience and then they just lead you perfectly into a bit. That is why I quite like comparing. Also, because a lot of the time, like, it might be a bit that didn't used to really work that well. If you have it in the middle of a set, it's like, oh, this isn't amazing, this bit. But if it just seems like it's part of conversation that you've just come off, it fucking kills. I've even like tried to bring bits out of retirement before, where you'll be comparing, and then you're like, oh my god, I had this bit about like, I had a bit about going to the gym, and how I find it's a bit like, when you sit down in like a gym machine and it's set to like a massive weight. And then the thing is set really far away from you. So you're like, what kind of monster was like sat on this machine before I came? And it's like at the beginning of a Godzilla film where they find Godzilla's footprint and they're like, what made this footprint? and they're imagining the size of the monster. And it was like a fine bit. I used to do it in sets. It didn't kill. But then like I was comparing and this guy ran a gym and it just came up really organically and it killed so bad in the room that I was like, I'll start doing it in my sets again. And then it just wasn't as good. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. Some bits just work perfectly when they're like in those sort of natural conversation moments.
Because the crowd are thinking, he's just riffed this.
He's magic. He's just come out of this. And I was just like, oh no, I'm just remembering this bit from 5 years ago. But yeah, it feels like magic. It's nice. It's nice, those moments. I get a lot of people coming up to me after gigs and sort of asking me if I think about what I'm going to say before I go on stage. Do you ever get that? And you're like, yeah, it takes ages to write a joke. Of course I do. Like, I put a lot of work into this. And they go, oh, right. I thought you were just talking. You have people come up to you and they're like, I've seen you before and you did that joke then.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
I'll do it a lot of times, actually, I think. Yeah.
I was emceeing a gig in West Kensington, private members club, and I was doing what I know is my shtick. And I know that if you've not seen me before, you might think he's making this up.
Yeah.
And then I was back. I was the resident compere there, so I was back the next week, and I recognised a woman from the previous show, and I went, "Oh, madam, you've come back." And she said something like, "Yep, came back to see you, and you're doing all the same jokes." She didn't realise that
that's what it would be.
We're not just making it all up.
Oh my god, that is so devastating for everybody.
I might have told this before. I might have said it on this pod. Friend and I met mine from school. We've been friends since we were kids. Each other's best men. Blah blah blah. We got into Chris Rock in like a major way as teenagers. So when we were in our 20s, he did a tour. We went to, I think, 4 dates. 3 at the Apollo, 1 at Brixton.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know that comedians were doing the same routine. We thought that they came on and were just being hilarious,
spontaneously funny.
Yeah. And the first night he walked on to us two giving him a standing ovation.
Yeah.
And then the second night we looked at each other. Is there a mistake? And then by the 4th night, Brixton, oh man.
Oh my god! So you bought 4 tickets in advance, just thinking we're
literally
going to see him as many times as possible.
The nanosecond they came out, this would mean I would have been at the London paper, so maybe 07, 08, perhaps. But yeah, literally, I was probably first to buy the tickets in the UK, super fan. But I think that's quite common with a lot of comedy fans. Wow. I think.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Chris Rock especially is quite funny that he did that special where he changed his outfit halfway through a sentence, and you can see how word for word he's doing it the same in 3 different locations.
Have you heard the Mark Maron interview with him about this?
No.
So Mark Maron very warmly pulls him up on that
Yeah.
because he says there is still, and I'm sort of ruining the mystique myself, but Mark Maron's take is there is still some sort of mystique that maybe we are just coming up with this because
Yeah.
making it sound like it's the first time you've said something. And he says when you did that special, so that to the listener, I can't remember what the special's called, but he literally, Jack's right, it jump cuts from 1 minute he's in South Africa, isn't he?
Yeah.
And the next minute he's doing the word for word the exact same routine, and it jump cuts perfectly to say New York. And this happens a lot throughout the special.
He's halfway through a sentence, and then his outfit changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mark Maron was sort of like, "Why did you have to do that? Why did
You are sort of spoiling the magic a little bit, you know."
Yeah, it's interesting. But then I don't know. But then that is sort of, yeah.
I'm not going to name names, but there are some icons in the history of stand-up where non-comedian friends have said things like, and they just make it up. And you're like, they fucking don't, dude.
I know. When I've told people that I've written jokes for Mock the Week before, people are like, "What? What do you mean? They're just jumping up and they're just being funny." And it's like, no, they've got like a list of jokes written in front of them. People don't want to hear it. They're like, "Oh, don't tell me that." And you're like, I have to put it on my CV. I have to try and get more writing work. Like, someone quizzed me at a gig. They were like, "Why does it say on your CV that you wrote for Mock the Week? Like, what does that mean?" And I was like, "Well, it means this." And they were like, "Well, I'm annoyed that you've told me that." But yeah. Don't look behind the curtain if you don't want to see what's behind there.
Yeah, if this episode had a name, it would be "This episode takes place behind the actual curtain."
Yeah.
Now,
the Wizard of Oz episode.
I would never ask you a figure or anything like that, but Tim, I hope you were also thinking this. Is the crisp money, is that a life changer?
A life changer. What's a life changer though? I mean, I didn't bought a house with it or anything like that, but it was like especially at the time, like in my mid-20s, it was like, oh, this is like a good portion of like a yearly salary, in one go.
Do you remember those idents on T4?
Yeah.
T4 in association with.
Yeah.
A friend of mine did a series of those, and I'm pretty sure they bought a house. This would have been early mid noughties.
Yeah, I think that it did used to be that kind of money, and it's sort of steadily declined, and then it's dropped off a cliff in like the last few years.
How come?
I think just because of social media. Honestly, I think like for like these big companies, there's no point in paying like a huge amount of money for like a big advert that's going to go on TV because people don't watch TV anymore. If they give like half that budget to an influencer who's got 1 million followers, then they know 1 million people are going to watch it, and so many people are going to engage with that. I think it's seen as like a much better sort of marketing tool.
And I've heard even the influencer money's dropped significantly because there's so many influencers.
Yeah, it could have done. I mean, yeah, there's so many of them now as well. And I've no idea. Like when you see like comedy people who are doing like a sort of branded funny video, I've no idea what sort of money they get. But the sort of advertising money has really dropped, even in my career. And even when I started, I think it was way less than it used to be. When it was like a TV advert and there were only 5 channels, then obviously that was like you had a captive audience and that was how they found out about products. But now like social media is how they do it, and it's so much easier for them. They can just get an influencer to go, "I like this handbag," and people will go out and buy the handbag. They don't need to pay actors or writers or advertising companies or anything.
A friend of mine works for a decent clothing brand.
Yeah.
I think they might listen to this pod, so I probably shouldn't say which one, but quite a posh one. And I questioned the point of influencers advertising stuff. Because I'm 47, and she was like, "You could not be more wrong." And so they will contact influencer X or whatever, and they say, "Oh, I've just got this new top from insert name of." Apparently, mate,
sells out. It will sell out in a second.
Off the shelf.
Yeah. It's wild. I know. That's sort of it's kind of depressing. There's sort of like acting in adverts now. I sort of find the main things that you get money for is you get offered money for like gambling adverts. That's like where the money is now. And that was like always my red line of like I don't want to do gambling adverts.
Would you do a gambling advert now?
No, I've said no to them recently, which is hard sometimes because they are tempting. But I don't know. I'll do booze. Listen, I'll do booze. I'll do cigarettes. You know, I like booze and cigarettes. But gambling, I don't know. There's just something quite insidious about gambling. I find it a bit icky. But I don't judge anyone who does it because I know people got to make their money. I just said that I was like, I'd like to have a line for me personally, and that was just what I decided my line was.
Tim, would you do a gambling ad if we were approached?
I mean, thing is, even
always be casino.
Yeah. ABC bet 365.
Even in like the little types of gambling, like lottery and stuff. I used to work in a supermarket and like put through people's tickets, and you just see them like pour money away.
Yeah.
And like sort of is slightly terrifying.
I know
but-
people who've like lost their house to sports gambling and stuff like that, and it is just like,
Gambling's the one industry never impacted by recession.
well, I know, which is horrifying, isn't it? It's like the high street, like all you read about is how the high street's dying, and the gambling, you know, the betting shops are the one things that always survive, and it is just money for nothing. You're paying for nothing.
My gran always used to say there's only one winner. I know that's like the most obvious cliche, but it is true, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's wild, but yeah, I sort of feel the same about capitalism in general, isn't it? That like sort of like that's how our whole society runs now. The people at the top who own the company are making all the money, and every now and then someone else will win big, and then that convinces the rest of us that, you know, anyone can do it. And then, and really, it's just all a big Ponzi scheme, and the vast majority of people are getting ripped off.
Do you still do lots of auditions and so on?
Yes, I do quite a few. Yeah. I did a tape for Uber Eats last week.
Did you?
Sent off a tape. I nearly got in one with. It was someone quite famous. It was like Javier Bardem or someone. I was like down to the last two to be in. Yeah.
That's the Dune advert.
It might be. I think it was quite recent. It might be.
It's a spoof of like it's sort of like Dune adjacent or Game of Thrones adjacent. They're at like a big banqueting table. It's certainly a sci-fi-esque setting.
I went,
Wow.
I was like the COVID cover for it, even though it was only last year, and I think for insurance they still have COVID cover just in case, and so it's like they're like keep that day free, and if at the last minute the guy we've picked has COVID and can't do it, then we'll get you to do it. So I was obviously like second pick for that one.
I remember hearing about like when 8 Out of 10 Cats was doing like lockdown recordings, and we knew comedians who would just, their job was they'd travel to Manchester, they'd get paid a few thousand to just sit in a dressing room in case John Richardson suddenly contracts COVID. It sounded
sort of like understudy.
Yeah, just ready to go. But
oh my god! I mean, that's bad enough doing that for like a play, you know, where it's like, okay, one of the characters is like it's the understudy. If you're going to see a specific comedian and it's like, oh, by the way, here's a different comedian, that's quite rough.
Yeah, but I mean, for our friends who did it, I think it sounded great. They just played.
They just ended up hanging out.
Played on their phone for a couple of hours.
Oh, well, that's fine. No. But I mean, if they'd had to be drafted in, I think it would have been fucking terrifying.
I was the warm-up on comedians giving lectures, right? I think I did nearly every episode. And during COVID, I had a lecture good to go.
Yeah.
If someone got COVID, I was in. It was funny. It was a good lecture.
And
I can say that.
And it never got to see the light of day.
I can say that because I wrote it with Josh Pugh, so it was funny. Because Josh Pugh had written all the funny bits. But it was such a shame. Anyway,
That's such a shame. I didn't know that.
It was a shame because it was properly funny. because, and hang on, I cannot give Josh Pugh enough credit. But you know, when you read some, I was reading his stuff and like proper, like tears cascading. Didn't Sarah Barron end up on a show? Because someone got COVID on Would I Lie to You?
Quite possibly, yeah. I don't know. No, she definitely did a show. I don't know if that was why or not, but yeah, maybe.
Right,
You should do your lecture. You should do it online. You could record it like this. Do it to
Can you tell us the
camera.
topic at least?
There was a running gag about. Oh God, I feel awful now, but the running gag was that my wife was obviously being unfaithful, but I didn't know. And that was the running joke. It was good. It was funny, and a couple of people on the show had come up to me and gone, "Oh, that is a funny lecture." But unfortunately, hang on, that's a horrible thing to say. Unfortunately, one of my friends didn't get COVID.
Yeah. If only they'd got it.
I'll try and dig it out. I'll dig it out, Timo. I'll happily send it to you. It was
Genuinely, there's nothing I want to see more. That's fascinating.
So the lecture must have been something to do with relationships, and that was one of the runners. So
wow.
it was you know what would Eddie Braben would say, the fool who doesn't know is a fool. That was
Lovely.
That was the shtick.
Oh God! I mean, people getting COVID. Yeah, I got a part in a film. I was in like a proper film that came out last year. It was Hedda Gabler. Do you know the play Hedda Gabler? It's like, I'd heard of it. I don't know anything about it.
I've heard of it. I couldn't tell you what.
Yeah, it's an old Ibsen play, and it made like a sort of Hollywood adaptation for it. It's on Amazon now. Check it out, Hedda on Amazon, and I got that basically because it had been scheduled to film in the summer, and then it had to get delayed. I think because of a COVID thing, and then when they rescheduled it, one of the actors had got another job and couldn't do it anymore, and so then I swept in, and I got to be in it instead.
That's amazing.
Directed by Nia DaCosta. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah. She's
great.
exactly. Yeah.
Hang on, isn't she lovely?
She's the best. We're friends now. She's such a legend. I sort of drunkenly. I'm so bad at like. I don't know. I'm just not good at like sort of. You know when you like someone in this industry and you're like, you're really cool and I want to be your friend, but I never quite know how to make that happen. And I was just really pissed at the rap party and I was like, can we be mates? And she was like, yeah, okay. And then sort of invited me to dinner a couple of weeks later. And it was really nice. So, you know, she's an absolute legend. She's the best. And yeah, thank you, COVID, because I don't think I would have got a part in the film if it hadn't been for that.
I think you did the right thing, though, in saying let's be mates. And if you've gone out for meals, now you are mates. Good for you.
Yeah, no, she's the best. But it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very good at it. It's sort of a weird.
Sounds like you're very good.
No, that was the one time it's ever happened. It was like, I don't know, being a sort of adult man in the comedy industry, you meet all these guys and you just think, oh, these are great people. Like, I want to hang out with you more. But it's always you need something. I don't know. That's why football's so good, isn't it? You can be like, oh, let's go watch football together. But if people don't like football, then you need something else. You need an excuse to be friends with people, don't you?
I think that's why comedians' football's important, because otherwise, a lot of those people, you just cross like ships in the night at gigs.
Yeah.
And to have actual conversations with people who you've known for 10, 15 years without ever having a proper chat with them, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's good. Those sort of like social events, I think, are quite important.
Yeah, they are. Timo, should we get to the... Is there any other business, or should we get to the...
I think that's great.
Anything else we can plug? Anything like your socials or anything we can plug?
Oh, please. Yeah. I'm at I am Jack Barry on TikTok and Instagram. And I've got a website, jackbarry.co.uk, which has got a lot of like sketches and stuff that I've made on it. So check that out. And yeah.
You've got a very funny special on YouTube.
I've got a special on YouTube, which you can also find on my website.
Really funny.
Yeah. Don't Happy Be Worry, it's called.
Good stuff.
Yeah, you can find that on my website. And hopefully I'm going to go on tour later this year. So keep an eye out for that. I haven't announced anything yet. But
right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where will you tour? Here, there, and everywhere?
I think so. Well, not massive. but you know, I love going to, you know, Bristol, Manchester. I'll go up to Scotland. I'll try and do as many as I can. We'll see. Brighton. Yeah.
Genuinely, if the listener was like, I want some of that, is there a mailing list on the website?
There's not. You can find there's like a tour section on the website. Maybe I should do a mailing list, shouldn't I? That's
I think
what
you probably
comedians
should.
do, innit? Yeah. Okay. I'll figure out how to do that.
And we say that as Always Be Comedy, who've been building a mailing list for nearly 15 years.
Yeah, it's all about the mailing list, isn't it?
Mark Zuckerberg might one day just decide Instagram gone straight away.
Yeah.
Got to have the main list. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that doesn't ever happen.
Who owns the mailing list? Could someone decide that the mailing list is gone? Is that at risk?
I mean, technically, yeah.
I do often.
MailChimp might one day just decide that's it.
Gosh.
I'd lose the last 3 hairs on my head. Hang on, they'd have to have a contingency plan, I suppose, wouldn't they? Please.
I sort of do feel like the internet's gonna die at some point. Do you? I just sort of feel like that's not gonna last forever.
Go on.
I don't know. I read a book about like the internet falling apart and then everyone having to live in darkness again. And I was like, oh yeah, I see that happening any day now, any day. This is why I haven't got a pension. I just cannot believe that society is gonna exist in its current form by the time I get to pension age.
Mate, sort that pension.
I'm really gambling on it. I won't do gambling adverts, but I'll gamble on the collapse of society.
Mate, do a pension ad. Do a pension ad and try and get a pension that way.
Yeah, that's a good idea. They don't tend to give you free stuff when you do the.
Yeah, James, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Tim Key was pensions ads for a long time.
Huh?
Tim Key was doing pensions voiceover for a long time.
Was he?
Yeah.
I bet he's got a nice pension. Yeah. I did an advert for, I probably shouldn't say who it was, but it was for a big tech company. And I kept on, I just found it really funny to just keep saying that I need a new laptop. Like whenever we were like in between scenes, we'd be all mic'd up. And I'd be like, God, I wonder if anyone here's got the guts to give me a laptop. Like I dare the people to get a laptop. And the producer, who was like completely humorous, sort of came over and was like, I've just been told to like remind you that the people who are listening in the tent, they can hear everything you're saying. And I was like, I know, I'm talking to them. Like, this is for them. This isn't a normal conversation that I'm having with my co-star.
Did you get one? No.
After all that, they didn't give me one. Yeah.
And you were just being a cheeky boy anyway.
I was being a cheeky chappy. I think they found it funny, really. I think I then even went into the tent and I was like, guys, just give me a laptop. You know, how clear do I have to be about it?
Jack, you are curating a dream gig. Do you have any pre-gig rituals?
Do I? No, not really. Do I? That's not a good question. That's not a good answer, though, is it? I sometimes listen to like energetic music to get myself hyped up. I've got like a grime and drill playlist on my on Spotify that I sometimes listen to. Just like some quite aggressive sort of rap music. And then I find that. Oh, hang on one sec. The cat's trying to get out. All right. He'll be back in 1 second, I predict. Yeah, I sometimes listen to music to get myself hyped up, but for the most part, not really. I'm getting into meditation. I try to meditate now, try and get myself in like in a good headspace with that. Try and be very zen. But I used to need a drink before every single gig, but that was quite a long time ago now. And I was like, I can't drink before every time I go to work, otherwise I'm gonna get very ill. So I tried to cut that out. Sometimes I have like Coke or caffeine to try and like amp myself up. But
I've had to stop that. You know, I had a Coke Zero before a warm up, and found myself quite Yeah, and I was like,
really?
I can't do that again.
It does happen, doesn't it? I don't know. It is funny. I mean, you mentioned Mark Maron earlier. I opened for him on tour when he came over here like a few years ago. And it's one of the biggest gigs I've ever done at Royal Festival Hall, which is like a few thousand people. And that was like a day I just hadn't thought about it all day. I can't remember what I was doing, but I just like my brain was elsewhere. And it was just one of those days, you know, like when you walk in a room and you're like, what am I doing? Why did I walk in here again? And I was like, oh, I'm on stage at Royal Festival Hall. There's like 2,000 people here. And it was such like a weird, and so that now since then I do try and be at least present before I'm on stage. And I try and sort of like think about where I am and what I'm going to be doing. Because I think maybe that was like a point where I just got a bit lackadaisical and a bit too chilled about just like, oh yeah, whatever. I'm doing this. Okay, here we go. And it was just like a day that really shocked me. And I was like, oh shit, I'm suddenly here and I'm sort of flying by the seat of my pants. But it was still a very fun gig.
Did you get away with it?
I think I got away with it. Yeah. There were some nice gigs. I had to be careful. I did the first gig. Yeah. Have I told you this story? I did like, I only did a few dates for him. And the first one I did for him was at the Salford Lowry. And like before I went on stage, I was like, oh, you know, nice to meet you, Mark. I'd been listening to a podcast of his where he'd been like talking about, he was like, the one thing you got to do as a comedian, you got to keep your time, man. Like, just keep your time. And I was like, oh, I was listening to that podcast where you were saying that. Like, do you want me to do anything else? And he's like, nah, man, just stick to your time. Like, don't overrun. And I didn't have a watch. And I got like partway through my set. And I was like, I'm not quite sure how long I'm doing, but you guys are so nice. Like, I'm just going to do like another bit. And the gig was going so good, and I came off stage, and then I was like, did I overrun? I don't know how I did. He was like, yeah, you know you did, dude. You fucking said it on stage that you were overrunning. And I was like, oh, fucking hell, man. Like, sorry. I was just like having a really nice time. And then like he opened his set by like laying into me for about 10 minutes. But like, it was really funny. He was like, this fucking guy I got opening for me. He was like, what should I do before the gig? I said, don't overrun. And he's fucking overrunning. And then he came off stage and he said, I'm sorry, man. And I looked in his eyes. I could tell he wasn't fucking sorry. And you know what? That's why I like the guy. And he was like, I would have done exactly the same thing if I was having a good show. And so actually it was fine. In the end, I thought I'd absolutely fucked it. But actually it was really nice.
Hang on. That's a great anecdote. Fuck, Peter Ustinov. So good. Because it's the lovely twist of, and you know what? That's why I like him. That's
well, exactly. I know. It was even the next day, like his tour manager, like at the next show we did, we were like in the dressing room and he was like, Mark, do you want Jack to overrun again? Because that was a really great start to the show yesterday when you started off by laying into him. And Mark was like, yeah, but no, I think I should try my actual opener because I'm going on tour in the States and he's not going to be with me for the whole tour. So I can't just build the show around slagging him off at the beginning.
That's so good. Oh, Jack, what do you mean I have to get a US visa? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess the special, when we record it, we're going to have to be like, oh, by the way, the opener overran. So this is the start of the show.
Superb.
Oh, man. That was pre-show ritual, weirdly. So
Yeah.
Right.
So that's my pre-show ritual. Yeah.
Brilliant. Who would MC the gig?
Who would MC the gig? And I'm not allowed to have Jimmy Gill.
Oh, you can. You absolutely can. I've told Josh Pugh this story to his face, so he won't mind this. But we did a podcast with him, but his internet was rubbish, so it didn't work. So we've redone it at Tommyfield. So I told him this, but he said, "Who could I have as MC?" And he goes, well, let's just say this is someone who, when they walk on stage, the crowd love them, and I'm like, oh, I know where this is going.
He's giving me the eyes.
And he goes, In my opinion, this person is so likeable. They should have their own ITV Saturday night show. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah? Oh, yeah, yeah. And that is why I am picking for MC Barbara Nice. It's like,
Had there been any chat about Barbara Nice up until that point?
No. I just misread. I'd misread everything.
Oh, bless. That's so funny.
And then I had to start it out with, yeah, great pick.
She's a dynamite. Yeah, of course.
No, I don't have red eyes, not at all. Sorry, Jack, go for it.
You're superb, James. I'd have you. I'd have. Well, actually, Dominic McGovern.
No, let's not. Well, let's not. Let's not get sidetracked.
Okay,
no, I'm joking.
I host loads these days. I feel like I don't see many other hosts these days.
Dom is great, and it's, you know what, having you and Dom, Amy and Nat. There's a few who are just fantastic. Always Be Comedy, I hasten to add. So huge thanks to you and Dom and Amy. Who have I missed out there, Tim? Who else has been doing? Oh, Ben Pope.
Oh
yeah, Ben's superb. Yeah,
Alex Haddow. So many
Alex
people.
Haddow,
yeah.
God bless you all. Who do you have as opener?
I mean, we mentioned him earlier. I mean, Sean McLaughlin is one of my favourite comedians in the whole world.
Yeah,
I love Sean, and well, for years I'd always say I think he's criminally underrated. I think now finally he is like building like a really good. He's just done like a massive sold out tour, which I think is amazing. I think he's fine, and he's getting some spots on TV like Mock the Week and stuff.
Yeah,
I think he's finally now getting the recognition that he's deserved for years, because I don't think anyone's better. He just like the material he writes, I just absolutely love. I can't get enough of it. So like I'd love to put Sean out.
When I used to work at Shortlist magazine, somebody interviewed Adam Buxton, and he had to do his top 10 favourite films or something like that. And Adam Buxton used such a good phrase. He picked Midnight Run, and he said, "Midnight Run. So many people have now said that Midnight Run is underrated, that it is now officially rated."
Yeah.
And maybe Sean McLaughlin is the Midnight Run of.
I think maybe he might be. Yeah. He's certainly the De Niro of stand-up, I'd say.
Ooh,
I think
nice.
He's I think hopefully he's sort of getting to the point that he's rated.
In the history of Always Be Comedy, one of my favourite ever memories is Sean McLaughlin headlining, and Joe Lycett had been in the middle doing New. Tim, do you remember how hard Lycett was laughing?
Oh, it was great. It was so.
He was like projectile crying. He was. I've never seen. I was going to say I've never seen Joe like that. I'm not sure I've seen a human laugh like that. Just like proper. That's how good Sean is. He makes your belly ache.
Yeah. He's absolutely superb, and he lives nearby, and I see him sometimes in South London. I keep getting in trouble for mentioning it, but we go for breakfast sometimes. We got a group who go for breakfast, which I'm supposed to stop mentioning.
Why?
I don't know. It was so funny. I did like an interview once for the South Croydon Gazette or something like that. It was like one of those like random Edinburgh where you're just like doing loads and loads of interviews, different, and they were like, it was like a Croydon newspaper. And they were like, "So you're a comedian from South London, so what's it like being a comedian in South London?" And the only South London thing I could think of was, I was like, well, we've got this group of us who go for like breakfast sometimes. We've got a WhatsApp group called the Brekkie Boys. And then like a couple of weeks later, Sean texted me, be like, "Why am I reading about the Brekkie Boys in the Croydon Gazette?" And I was like, "Why are you reading the Croydon Gazette? If there's ever an interview that I thought would go under the radar, I can't believe it." He was like, "I can't believe you're mentioning this in the press."
Was it the Croydon Guardian or the Croydon Advertiser?
Oh, God,
or was it the South London Press?
I want to say the Advertiser.
I used to work for the Advertiser.
Did you? That was the one that you worked at?
That's when I covered Crystal Palace, 02 to 05.
I think it was that one. Well, yeah. Well, check it out. There's a mention of the Brekkie Boys.
Who were in the Brekkie Boys?
Well, this is a problem. I feel like I'll get in trouble if I go on. Me and Sean, Sunil Patel. Well, that was the other thing, because then when I introduced Sunil at ABC last week, I was like, sometimes I go for breakfast with him. And then as I was like shaking his hand, he's on stage, he's like, don't mention Brekkie Boys. I was like, why is this a secret gang?
Hang on. Hang on. I love all the people in the Brekkie Boys so far. We love enormously. But with all due respect, it's not like you're out in... It's Brad Pitt, it's Jack Nicholson, it's Denzel, it's Meryl Streep. No, we maintain our privacy.
I know. We're not broadcasting where we're going beforehand, but...
So why, genuine question.
All we're discussing at breakfast is the downfall of, how to assassinate the Prime Minister. So I think that's maybe why they don't want us to talk about it.
Why is there such secrecy? Why are the Brekkie Boys so secretive?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them. But don't ask them, because then they'll know I've been talking about it.
Jesus Christ. Well, I promise I won't ask them, but it's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Right, hang on. McLaughlin, Barry, Patel.
There's a few others. Harriet's in the Brekkie Boys.
It's a good crew, this.
Yeah. It's mostly just people who live nearby, who live near me. Yeah.
Tim, you must be tempted to move to South London to join the Brekkie Boys here.
I'd love to join the Brekkie Boys. It sounds wonderful. Some of my faves.
It's a really irregular thing. I mean, I'd say we only meet once, like a couple times a year, but we try. We try more often than that.
Is Tim allowed to go to the next one?
Yeah. I'll put in a good word for you.
Yeah, do. Much appreciated.
So good.
Who is middling this gig? Who's on in the middle?
Who's going in the middle? I'm loving Blank Peng at the moment. I'd probably put Blank in the middle. I think she's probably she's getting to the point that she's too good to be in the middle. But I think if this is a dream gig, I think Blank. I'll put her in the middle. She's I've had a lot of gigs with her recently, and she's been working bloody hard on her social media, and she's been blowing up on social media.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. She's so fun, and she's so funny.
Did you tell us to book Blank Peng? Someone else has told us to get Blank Peng down to ABC.
I don't think it was me, but it wouldn't surprise me if lots of people are telling you, because she's superb, and she's incredibly hardworking. She does always have a go at me about my rusty Chinese, which gives me great shame. Yeah, no. On Sean McTalk show, he sprung some like Chinese on me. He was like, "Oh, we want to get big in China, so you got to say this in Chinese." And it was like, my Chinese is so rusty. I haven't spoken it for ages. And I was like, I know. Just as I was saying it, I was like, I know what I'm saying is quite crap, and I bet one of the Chinese comedians that I know is gonna call me out on it. And immediately, like, Blank commented it on Instagram, being like, this needs a lot of practice. And now whenever I see her, she's like, your Chinese needs practice. But we have been practicing a bit when I see her, so that's good.
Perfect.
Fantastic. And who is closing this gig?
I have my friend May Martin close the gig.
Of course,
I miss May very much since they moved to LA, and they're always one of my favourite people to gig with, obviously. And I warmed up for them for several years on tour, and I think they're always just a perfect headliner.
They're just colossally huge, whatever the phrase is. We're just doing so incredibly well now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's very well deserved. They work really, really hard, and they're a really special act, and How do you be funny about this without just sounding really earnest?
Yeah.
They're really funny. Yeah. One of my best pals. Very, very funny person. Love watching them do comedy. Great headliner.
And just consistently brilliant for so long as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, there's the videos of them doing comedy as like a teenager or something on like Canadian TV.
Well, yeah, I think they started when they were like 14 or 15. Yeah. So they've been doing it for a long, long time. So it's practice makes perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah. And what do people normally say? People normally fun. When I first met May, we became friends like years ago, and I just remember we were doing a gig together in Leeds. And we got quite pissed together after the gig. And it was one of the first times that we'd sort of properly hung out. And then I woke up the next morning, I'd written a reminder on my phone like when I was drunk, like remember this in the morning, like a shopping list or something, and it just said May's the coolest person you've ever met. And it was just like, oh, I've really got to remember this tomorrow.
Oh.
And yeah. And I told them it immediately. I was like, I was obviously thinking this when I was drunk, and then we sort of been best mates ever since. So yeah.
That's lovely. That and the Mark Maron story. This is
Yeah.
The anecdotalist, Jack Barry.
Absolutely. It's lovely stuff.
Is there an incident in this dream gig which you would love to replicate?
Guys, because the Mark Maron story was such a magical story, we'll go with that as something you would love to replicate at this gig. Because that is
I'd like it, yeah.
once a blue moon
like
stuff,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if that had been most other megastars, I mean, I've heard a story. I can't say who it is because they are beloved, but I heard a story about someone who's beloved now overran, and they did it 3 times during a run of shows with one of the most beloved acts in the history of comedy, and the 3rd time they did it, they sparked the person out for overrunning.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Physically?
Yeah. Physically.
Oh my God! Wow.
Punch them in the face. So what I'm saying is the Maron story is lovely, is because he's made a lovely bit out of it, whereas a lot of big
got hit. I could have got
huge American stars would have ripped in. Could have maybe not ripped into you, but could have been a real dick. And the fact that that he created magic out of it is nice.
Well, thank God I avoided that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you who it was after the. Listeners, I'm not being a dick, because if I said it, I think some listeners would go, "You definitely should not have said that."
Yeah.
And then, in turn, is there an incident which must not happen at this dream gig?
I mean, many of those. Many of those. I did a gig recently, like a couple of weeks ago, Valentine's Day, and there was just like a group of in the audience who'd obviously just taken a lot of cocaine, and it was just like, what? Cocaine and comedy is not a good combo. Of all the drugs that you could take, when you've got to sit and listen to someone talk, why take the one that makes you want to talk and not listen? There was like, and it was fully just like, you're like, oh, I was comparing, what's your name, mate? And the guy's like looking at me with his eyes like,
oh God.
And he went like that. He was like, John. And I was like, oh my God. And one guy, I was the compare. When the opener came on, one of them fully took a bump of coke in his seat. And the opener was like, you've just taken a bump. I just saw you do that. And then he got a tissue out of his pocket and he was like, oh, I'm blowing my nose. And they were just like, when it's just like impossible. The rest of the audience were great, but they were like the front 2 rows. And it's impossible to connect the 2 groups. Like, they were laughing and having their own gig that was disconnected from the rest. And it was just horrible. But actually, one of the things I really wouldn't want to recreate, which is a similar vibe, which was like a Christmas gig that I did years ago in Hereford. And it was similar. It was like half the audience were from a cider company that were like on their Christmas night out. They'd all been drinking since lunchtime, and they were hammered. And it was like I think it was like 60, 70 audience, and 30 of them were from this company. And all they wanted to do was chat with each other, and it was just like an unplayable gig. And then I was opening, and then the actor who was on after me, who I don't think will mind me saying, it was Nazos Manilo. Lost his rag halfway through with one of them and just told one of them to fuck off. And then after the show, we were backstage, and the stage manager came backstage and was like, you guys need to leave out the back door because 6 of them are waiting in the lobby to kick your heads in. Like, they were genuinely like ready for a fight, these guys, and they were like, where are they? Like, tell us where they are. And they were like, yeah, we think it's best that you leave out the back door. But this was the Friday night. We were doing the Saturday night as well. So we were staying over. So before the gig, we'd been like, yeah, we'll go out for a couple drinks in Hereford after the show. And we're like, Hereford's not a big place. And it turns out there's one nightclub in Hereford. And that was the maddest thing. So we were like, God, we might bump into them. So we went to this pub and we were like, well, we kind of want to go to like the one nightclub in Hereford. And we went to this pub near the nightclub. And there were some other people from the gig who came up to us and they were like, oh, so sorry about that gig. Like, those guys were pricks. What a nightmare of a gig. Like, sorry you guys had a shit time in Hereford. And we were like, oh, whatever. And they were like, we're going to the club next door. Do you want to come with us? And we were like, yeah, we'll finish these drinks and we'll meet you in there. And they left. And then they came back and they were like, just so you know, those guys are in the club. And we were like, oh, fucking hell. And they were like, but if anything goes down, we've got your back. So we were like, okay, we've got like a posse in Hereford, like, so I guess we'll just like go in and like with our crew. So we like rolled into this club with this like group of 10 lads. And then, but then these guys had completely calmed down and had sort of just completely forgotten about it and just bought us a round of Jaeger bombs. And we're like, yeah, you guys have got fair play, actually. You know, like when people are really drunk and annoying, they're like, you're all right, actually. Like, no, respect to you for like putting up with what cunts we all were. And you're like, yeah, you could have just not been cunts. But then they bought us Jaeger bombs and we actually had quite a fun night with them. So, yeah. So again, managed to turn it around.
And that is how the Brecky Boys were born.
Yeah.
Final question, Jack. How do you unwind after a gig?
After a gig, I like to... Yeah, I can't ever just go home and go to bed. I quite like to get food after a gig. I mean, I do like to smoke weed. I'll say it. So like but I try not to smoke every day, and I'm trying to smoke less. But like if it's like a Friday or a Saturday gig, it's been like a big one. I get home and just sort of like put my feet up and have a joint, and then watch some dumb TV. I do that. That is my ideal sort of post gig.
What dumb TV are you talking?
I might watch some. I don't know. I'm rewatching The Sopranos at the moment, which isn't dumb TV. That's quite smart TV. But you know, I like a sort of Rick and Morty. The Simpsons. I love watching the old episodes of The Simpsons. I quite like some anime. I like a late night. I've just started watching The Leftovers, which I think came out ages ago, and someone recommended to me recently, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's quite good actually. I'm quite enjoying it.
I love Regina King. I couldn't get through it.
Really? Wait, Regina King, is she in The Leftovers? I haven't seen her yet. This is good.
Yes, she is.
Is she? Okay.
Jesus Christ! If she wasn't, I was in real trouble there.
No. Does that mean I'm in trouble? Yeah. So yeah. Some sort of Oh yeah. What else? What other TV do I like to watch? Yeah, sort of old like Peep Show. I can always go back to
always.
I can always go back to Peep Show. Yeah.
That show is just. And it's essentially perfect, isn't it?
I know. Yeah. I know, it really is. And
I love that they used to wear the helmet cam, and then someone went, "We don't need to do this. Just look at the camera." It was like, "Oh yeah." Yeah. It's incredible, isn't it? Because when you heard about the helmet cam, you're like, "Yeah, that's a genius idea."
Yeah, and you're like, "But no one's seeing it. It doesn't matter." Yeah. I was wondering how they do it but they do look in mirrors and stuff, don't they? They must sort of comp it on, I guess.
Yeah, and I never knew that. Because I think Izzy Suttie and David Mitchell their chemistry really sizzles, but they don't film together. So a lot of their scenes, she's just doing it down the camera to look at David, but it's not David, it's just a camera.
Yeah, I guess is he standing behind the camera doing the lines?
I don't think so. I'm sure didn't Izzy tell us that, Tim? Because I was like, your chemistry is amazing. She was like, yeah, but we weren't often. We weren't often filming together.
What? Someone else is reading the lines?
Well, it's the magic of the edit, I suppose.
Wow.
So Izzy's just doing her side of the conversation.
Wow.
Which makes the show even more impressive.
Yeah. She's just got great chemistry with that cold, dead camera lens.
And vice versa, because you really believe them. You totally buy the...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really sizzling between these two, but reality, it's just Izzy and camera 3 or whatever.
Cameraman with his thing to his eye, yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Shaq Barry, thank you very much for doing podcasts.
Thank you for having me.
Big thanks to Jack Barry. If I keep looking over, it's because the 7-year-old has walked in. Big thanks to Jack Barry. Tim, your favourite Jack Barry memory?
Jack Barry memory. You know what? He told me, unfortunately, it's an unrepeatable ad story he told me, which was just exceptional. So, unfortunately, it was outrageous. I'm keeping it for myself.
No,
so,
I know what this is.
You know what it is because I told you a minute later. But it's really good. But if you want one, which I can say,
well, I'll tell you what, it would have the listener thinking, if these some, I don't know, even a hint isn't worth it. But I'll tell you what, we'd all love to do more ads. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, my goodness. Or if that's not very satisfying, first time I saw him in a little gig in Kingston, and I was like, oh, this guy is superb. Very good.
Mine's the same. First time he ever did Always Be Comedy, which was years ago.
Yeah.
Over brilliant. 10 years ago. And he had this bit about, we mentioned it in the pod, but there's a bit about a dog that is, it's a lovely bit of business. And I love the fact that he keeps it in rotation if it comes up while he's emceeing. A terrific comedian. Luna, anything you'd like to add?
What?
No, anything at all? Anything you want to say? You want your dad to get a wriggle on, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Huge thanks, as always. Thanks for the shares and all that malarkey. Tim, lovely that they're all on YouTube.
Yes, all on YouTube. All video versions on Spotify, which, I believe is a way we get paid. So thank you for watching on Spotify. And that's it, really.
Tim, I think that's nicely put. Yeah. I'm well aware we'd all love to do ads. As soon as I said that, I thought, oh yeah, your hero Stuart Lee would love to hear you say that. But I just think, purely in terms of, as the old Simpson gag goes, let's just say it moved me to a bigger house.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it funds creative projects is what I'll pretend to say when.
That's how they all justify it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But by doing the adverts, that means that I can fund my passion project.
But that is how it works. That often is how it works. So yeah.
So it's fascinating how some people get away. Some people do ads and just for whatever reason, Teflon get away with it, and then some people do them and it can sort of almost end their career. Yeah,
I hope that's sort of gone away now. I guess it depends what the ad's for, but I'd like to think everyone knows it's hard to make a living in any creative field. So if you can get help from a big company.
The Peter K. John Smith's ads, and I'm teetotal, I'm not promoting John Smith's here.
Yeah.
The Peter K. John Smith's ads, I think they really helped elevate his career. I think they came out in tandem with him breaking through, and they helped take him to the masses, if you like.
Genuinely, whoever wrote those ads, they really they did a good job in doing something specifically for Peter Kay that he would do better than everyone else. It was really genuinely very funny ads.
Jump cut to next week's podcast, and me and Tim are dressed as a pint of John Smith.
we can only hope.
I know I said it was teetotal, but crying as I'm drinking it. Right, we will see you soon. Have a lovely few days. We're back this Friday. If you see us at a show, be sure to come over and say hello. Admittedly, it's more likely that Tim will be there. I've been AWOL on sweet. Unbelievable. Right, we'll say bye, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.